Still not too late. Thank you. Um, so yeah, in this chapter we are going to discuss about specifically that love of Godhead, not the peace. Soul is not looking for peace. Soul is looking for love, the bhakti, the devotion to the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna. So let's get started. We are moving to the. Uh, Give me one minute. Let me take my pencil out of this laptop. Yeah. Okay. So we are starting with this first shloka of this chapter. It says, Arjuna Uvacha Evam Satata Yukta Ye Bhaktas Tvam Paryupashate Ye Chapyaksharam Avyaktam Tesham Ke Yoga Vittama. Yoga Vittama. So Krishna, when Krishna has explained all these yoga system, Arjuna is saying Uttama. Uttama means what is best. Tesha means out of this. So out of these yoga, what is best? Out of what? He's saying, Ye bhaktas tvam paryupashate. Your devotees are worshipping you. And then there are other spiritualists. What are they doing? Chape akshar avyaktam. They are worshipping akshar avyaktam, which is impersonal, which has no form, formless. So someone is worshipping formless, meditating on formless. They close their eyes and they go into meditation and everything. And then there are your devotees; those are worshipping you, working for you. Who is best? So, which are considered to be more perfect? Yoguttama. Those who are always properly engaged in your devotion service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested. You know. So here comes Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is saying that the individual soul is forever a servant of the super soul. Who is super soul? Krishna. You know? And therefore, his relationship with the super soul is to offer service. That is called Bhakti Yoga or Bhakti Bhav. Now, question comes: why Arjuna is asking this? You know, in third chapter was entitled as Karam Yoga, right? So Krishna talked about Karam Yoga, and then you see in the fourth chapter, fifth chapter, Krishna is talking about Gyan Yoga, like Sarvam Karmakhilam Partha Gyan Parishamishvate. Krishna says all sacrifices of work cultivating transcendental knowledge. Krishna is talking Karma Yoga, and then Krishna is talking about Gyan Yoga. Then in sixth chapter, Krishna is talking about Nirakar Yoga. Nirakar means meditating on formless, right? So Krishna is saying Manasavendriya Grahamam Viniyam Samantatah. Control over your senses by my on all sides by the mind, which means sit in meditation and then focus on nothing, Nirakar. So this happened until sixth chapter. So third chapter Karma Yoga, fourth chapter, fifth chapter Gyan Yoga, sixth chapter Nirakar Yoga. And then when it comes to sixth chapter, end of the sixth chapter, Krishna talks about Bhakti Yoga and using different words. Ahem, Mam, starts talking about devotion. In fact, in the last chapter, we discussed Krishna is talking about unalloyed devotion. He's saying completely do your activities for me. Mat karma kran mat pramo, mat bhakta sangha varjita, never narva surbhuteshu, yasa mam iti pandava. He's saying yasa mam iti. He's definitely come to me. Who has these four things? Mat karmakrat, mat prabho, mat bhakta, and sang varjita. He's saying mat. He's always using this word. Mat means my devotee. So Arjuna has heard about all these yoga systems. That okay, you talked about Karma Yoga, fine. Then you talked about Jnana Yoga, you talked about Dhyana Yoga, and you talked about Bhakti Yoga also. Now, what is best, Krishna? You please tell me decisively. What is best out of them? Now, let's see what Krishna says. Krishna says, Shri Bhagavan Vacha, Maya Vesha Mano Yamam Nitya Yukta Upasate Shriddha Pariyupetaste Me Yukta Mamata. Krishna says, Maya Vesha Mano, which means who is Maya Vesh? who is attaching his mind on me, focusing his mind on me, okay, for how long? Nitya. Always attached his mind on me. Upasate, he is engaged in my worship with Shraddha. Shraddhaya paryupasate. And he is fixing his Shraddha on me, which means he is worshipping me regularly, fixing his faith on me. May yuktama mata, uttama means best. Mata means my opinion. Krishna is saying, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, those who fix their minds on my personal form and are always engaged in worshipping me with great transcendental faith, Shraddhaya, are considered by me to be most perfect. Now, you see, yes, Devesh Prabhu, you have a question?
Prabhuji, you are saying about the personal form. So which word is saying about the personal form?
1 minute. Sorry, Project, could you please come again?
Meaning, you are telling about the meditating on the personal form. So, personal form, physical appearance. Which word is telling about?
Yeah, Puji, you can question. You can text your question. You can put on chat. Actually, your voice is not clear. Probably you are traveling. That's why. So on the chat window, you can type your question. I will take that up. Huh? Thank you, Devesh Prabhu. So what I was saying that in this verse we are talking about mana. Krishna is saying that you fix your mind on my personal form. Now fixing the mind is the difficult part. How one can achieve this? Correct? To say it is okay, but to actually do it is the difficult part. Now you see, it's about understanding the need first, then mind comes later. Actually, for example, if a student knows that he will not get admission into a college if he does not pass the board exam, so this understanding should be very firmly clear in a student's mind, and then he will start acting on it. He will become serious for the studies, and is not able to understand any subject, he will try to find a tutor outside, and then he will that's all of us have done that. Then we'll go to the tutor, and all the time, focusing that no, we have to clear board exam to get good college, good admission in a good college. So the mind starts automatically following if actions are engaged in that activity, which we find that okay, this is urgent. To come to this stage, Maya Vesh Mano, we first need to engage in Upasate, which is our action. Upasate means worshipping the Krishna. Then Maya Vesh Mano, that will eventually come up. So sometimes when we hear that, okay, this is the mind on personal form, always engage in worshipping me. So this will always follow. That's not a big problem. The first thing is engage in worshipping me. And how do we engage? The first step is chanting. You see, when the soul, let's say this is soul, the dot, and this is my spiritual world, then the soul falls in this material world. It is being given coverings, right? Subtle body, gross body. Two coverings are given, subtle body and gross body. So the soul is now contaminated. The pure soul is Satchit Anand. There is no problem in the soul, but when it is given covering, now the problem starts. The soul is thinking, I am this body. So when this slowly, when we worship Krishna, we start realizing that no, I am not the body, I am soul. And then slowly, when it comes to the first break happens on the gross platform, and then subtle realization happens. On the subtle platform itself, slowly, we start engaging our mind in Krishna's service. So it becomes easy after that. Here is a Srila Prabhupada quote. Srila Prabhupada is saying, so on this text, Krishna is saying devotion is perfect. Devotion is uttama. So Srila Prabhupada says, it is said that even one drop of happiness in Krishna consciousness stands beyond comparison with an ocean of happiness derived from any other activity. Any other activity, if we are taking pleasure, then Krishna is saying, you take the ocean of that activity, the happiness that we derived in other things, and take a drop of happiness in Krishna consciousness. It's like that. Bhakti, we get some pleasure in bhakti and we get unlimited pleasure, for example, in any other activity. Then that one drop of pleasure from bhakti is much, much greater than that ocean of pleasure we get from other activities. Then question comes, okay, what about such meditators? This, I don't know if you have heard about this term Aghodi Baba. These Aghodi Baba, they eat anything. They don't discriminate at all. And they do lot of great austerities. Like you see this person, he's sitting here in snow, completely covered. So they do lot meditation. So question comes, okay, Krishna, you are saying devotion is uttama. Then what is the situation of these meditators? What happens to them? So Krishna says, Ye tva aksharam nirdeshyam vaktam paryupasate sarvatram chintayam cha kutasthalam chalam dhruvam sanniyam mandriyam gramam sarvatra samvabuddhaya te prapnuvanti mameva sarvabhuta hitarata. Krishna says, te prapnuvanti mameva. Eventually they will get me. Eventually they will achieve me. Who? Krishna is saying, ye tva aksharam anirdesha avyaktam. So avyaktam means formless, which you cannot vyakt, which you cannot express, or which does not have any form. Aksharam, which is never, which is imperishable, which cannot be perished. Paryupasate, those meditate on such form, which is avyaktam, which is impersonal. Sarvatram chintaya cha kutha isthalam dhruvam. So Krishna is saying the worship unmanifested with avyaktam, that which lies beyond the perception of senses, all pervading, sarvatram, here comes the word sarvatram, all pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed, immovable, impersonal conception of the absolute truth. By controlling various senses, here comes sanni indriyagramam, controlling various senses, being equipoised to everyone, some buddhaya, equipoised to everyone. Krishna is such persons engaged in the welfare of all, at last achieve me. Te prapnuvanti mameva. So Krishna is saying, at last, these people also achieve me. See what happens. These people have this concept of neti neti. You know what is neti neti? Neti means they will say no to any demand of mind. So for example, it is summertime and mind is saying, I need some cold water, or mind is saying, give me some AC or cooler. So they will say, no, 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 no. So in the summertime, they will go to a heat place like Rajasthan or somewhere. So they will do everything opposite whatever mind is demanding. So their objective is curb the demands of mind. That is their objective. Like do exactly opposite of what mind is demanding. So if mind in a winter time, mind is demanding hot water, then in the winter time they will go to Himalaya and then they will have this asan in the snow, like that. Whole their exit mind is demanding. This is my personal experience. One time I was distributing prasadam. I was distributing prasadam in Naimisharanya. Some of you must have heard this name. So I was distributing prasadam there, and this one person came who used to worship the unmanifested, impersonal form, meditators like these two gentlemen. So this person came to me, and I asked him, "Oh, do you need prasadam?" Then he said, he just nodded his head. Yes, some, I need some. So I said, okay. So I took a plate and very nicely I arranged different prasadam items in that. Puri, samosa, kachori, halwa, kheer. So many items I put that in that plate, and I offered this plate to him. He did not even hold the plate in his hand. He he picked up one puri from the plate, and then there was some stool, the cow stool, animal stool was lying on the ground. He picked up that stool from the ground and put that on the puri and then ate it. That was really disgusting actually when I saw that. So their idea, their idea is, if the tongue is demanding good food, then don't give tongue good food. Give tongue anything which is really bad, like stool, I said. So their only objective is curb the demand of mind. So they call it neti neti neti. No, this, not this, not this, not this. Even someone tells Krishna is God, neti neti. They don't accept they don't accept Krishna also, that Krishna is God, neti neti neti. Similarly, you will see many of such meditators in the winter time. They will cover themselves with heavy clothing. Sorry, summertime. Summertime, you want to wear very light clothes. No? They will wear like big jackets or like things like that. So that's how meditators do. And that's what Krishna is telling, that te prapnuvanti mameva, which means ultimately they will achieve me. So which means today they are not understanding, but tomorrow they will understand. Now, devotees do not have this concept. Okay, devotees have use concept. There is a difference. So meditators, such meditators are saying neti neti concept, not this, not this, not this. Devotees say use concept, which means whatever is there in this world is of Krishna, belongs to Krishna. So they say everything should be utilized in Krishna's service, even this body also. So when it is a summertime, devotee will not say, no, I should not be taking care of this body. No, he will take care of this body, but not with the consciousness that this is my body. He says, this is Krishna's property, I need to take care of it. There is a difference in the consciousness. So from the outside, sometimes devotees also look like they are working as materialistic people, but actually they are not. There is a difference of consciousness. For example, outside people go to restaurant to have nice food. Devotees also cook nice food for the Lord and have it. Karmis, outside people go to disco. Devotees also dance in front of the Lord for the pleasure of the Lord. Outside people also do work in different MNCs. Devotees also do work in MNCs. Outside also people go to, get married. Devotees also, get married and raise very nice Krishna conscious children. So what is the difference? Difference is that the outside people get sanctions from senses. Whatever my senses are saying, I will do that. And their ultimate objective is sense gratification. Why? They are getting the sanctions from senses. So tongue is saying, eat this. Yes, I will go to restaurant, eat this. Tongue is saying, hear this. Yes, I will go to YouTube, I will hear this. Tongue is saying, touch this. Yes, I will go to that place, touch that. And so, but devotees, they get sanctions from Krishna. Oh, I want to eat this, but Krishna is sanctioning that. Okay, yes, I can eat this. Oh, I want to hear this, hear this music, but Krishna is not sanctioning that. I will not hear that. But Krishna is sanctioning this type of music. Yes, I can hear this, like that. So there is a difference in sanctioning authority. Someone has assigned the sanctioning authority to his senses, and devotees have assigned the sanctioning authority Krishna. So that's the difference. One gentleman once came to Prabhupada also, and this person was boasting that I am a religious person. So he said, Prabhupada, I am also very religious. Prabhupada said, okay, what do you do being religious? He said, Prabhupada, I am vegetarian. I'm very religious, I'm vegetarian. Prabhupada said, what's the big deal? Even monkeys are also vegetarian. You can't say monkeys are religious. Huh? So who is the sanctioning authority in this case when a person is saying I'm religious? He himself. Correct? He himself made up his mind that I should be religious, I should be vegetarian. This is a part of that. That doesn't work that way. Krishna is the supreme authority. He should accept Krishna. Krishna is sanctioning this. Whatever Krishna is sanctioning, he should offer him and then have him. That's the objective. Let me quickly see in the chat window. Okay, they wish to put the answer. Perfect. Now, yeah, now the question is, if we are achieving you, how can we follow this? Yeah. So Krishna further says, Klesho adiktarastesham avyakta sakta chetasam avyakta hi gatir dukham devadarbhir vakyasate. He says, for those klesho adiktar. Adiktar means mostly klesha. Mostly they face klesh only on this path. He says, for those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested impersonal feature of Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. And to make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. So gatir dukhe, gatir means progress. Dukhe means troublesome, we can say troublesome or miseries. And devad abhyapyate. Abhyapyate means going to this path, achieving on this path, which means if you are progressing on this path, it's mostly difficult. Mostly difficult means it might be exciting to do these type of austerities in the beginning, but eventually it is very, very troublesome. Now, why it is troublesome? Because we can ourselves understand that if someone says, devotees are simple, you tell them that this is what is there in the scriptures, they will accept it. There is no ego blocker in there. Ego blocker means, oh, there is Krishna, he is the supreme personality, oh, he can only enjoy. No. This is a ego blocker. In case of devotees, there is no ego blocker. They will understand, okay, scriptures are our ultimate authority, and scriptures are saying that Krishna is a supreme person. They will accept it. It's like someone is saying, where is your nose? So simple person is saying, this is my nose. But the Jnani person is saying, no, I don't know where is my nose. Let me find it. And then he will, move his hand, the other side of the head, and then hold his nose. They say, oh, here is my nose. So this is how Jnanis actually approach. So it's very difficult process, So it's not very easy to follow this process. So here is the word, avyaktam asakta chetsam. You see this word over here, avyakta asakta chetasam. Avyakta asakta chetasam means they are attached to unmanifested impersonal feature of Supreme. So no matter how much you tell them, they will not accept it. They are asakt. They are attached to unmanifested. So such people, when they come to our temple also, they are saying that they are doing idol worship. Idol worship. They worship the stones. One time, one person met my spiritual master at Dubai airport. So my spiritual master was waiting for airline, and this Muslim gentleman, he came to my spiritual master, His Holiness Radha Govind Goswami Maharaj. He came to him, and he said, "Oh, are you Hindu?" So my spiritual master says that I am the eternal servant of Krishna. I am eternal servant of God. So he said, okay. So he said that you people worship stones. My spiritual master says, no, there is so much stone on this airport. You see this floor, these walls, so much stone is there. I am not worshipping them. We don't worship stones. Then he got a break. It's like, what is this? Then he was like, no, I have seen in your temples you worship stone. Then he says, no. My spiritual says, no, we are not worshipping stone. We are worshipping the Supreme Lord Krishna himself in our temples. We are not worshipping stones. So then he kept discussing, and then his namaz time came, So he went to do his namaz, and then he again came back. Then my spiritual master asked him, what were you doing? Then he said, I was reading namaz. Then he said, okay. My spiritual master says, who was hearing it? He said, my Allah was hearing it. He said, oh, no, he cannot hear. He said, why? Because he does not have ears. You need ears. Then he said, no, Allah has ears. Then he says, okay, so if he has ears, it means he has eyes also. He said, yes, Allah has eyes. So similarly, he agreed that Allah has a personal form. And then he appreciated the whole conversation my spiritual master was telling. He became eventually a well-wisher also. He gifted some $50 watch also to my spiritual master. So like that, some people are attached to the impersonal form. Avyakta, asakta, chetasam. They are asakt, but they don't know. Srila Prabhupada gives very nice example in his purport. He is saying that there is a post box, no? So there is a post box, let's say. So there is a post box. You put some letters into this. You put some letters into this. So this letter will go to the designation, wherever we want to send this letter, it will go. Why? Because this is authorized post box. But we cannot put this letter in any box that it will reach. No, it will not reach. Similarly, our Archa Vigraha in temple are authorized deities that we worship. They are not stone. They are not like any box. We are worshipping authorized deities. And when we worship them, they reciprocate properly. Why? Because they are authorized. Like that. Okay. So this is the difference we see in personal and impersonalist and bhaktas. And then we can see why difficult it is. Like impersonalist, they meditate on formless. But devotees meditate on deity form. Similarly, impersonalist, they have a focus of controlling the senses. But as you know, like, senses are very strong. It is very difficult to control the senses. So devotees understand that, and what they do, they engage the senses into Krishna's service. So it is easy. Then devotees, the impersonalist, they follow Upanishads, and they does not regard the highest literature like Srimad Bhagavatam, and devotees follow Navvedi Bhakti. Similarly, like Krishna is telling, Gatir Dukham. So this path is troublesome. But devotee's path is very natural and very pleasing, easy also. Like it is not difficult to come to temple and pay obeisances to Krishna. But it is very difficult to find time and sit in a place where there's no noise and then focus on something which is formless. It is very difficult. Another thing is that in devotional atmosphere, there is an intimate relationship with the devotees, with the Lord. So there is a very strong protection environment. For example, if you are not coming into the class, then I might ping you that, oh, you are very regular, what happened to you? So it is very difficult for you to get away with this process because there is good protection around it. So when as many devotees we have covered us, there is a good protection. Devotees keep us protected. And from the top, we have Krishna's protection also. Krishna is completely protecting us. When we worship Krishna, we also realize that. But this impersonalist way of approaching the absolute truth is not only difficult, but there is no relationship also. It's very dry. There is no protection. For example, we closed our eyes and we are meditating. What we are meditating upon, we don't know. Or probably we only know, outside person does not know. So there is no protection. We will fall down, we will start thinking of something else. But because outside person does not know, there is no. In fact, the very process of impersonalism is go away from society. Go away from society, find a secluded place and do worship there. Like some yogis, they go to Himalaya and all. So it's very troublesome. There is no relationship, very less protected. And it depends on our own endeavor. It depends on our own endeavor also. And we will read this in further shloka also. Krishna is saying, I deliver my devotees. Right? So like that. Then Krishna further says that ये तु सर्वाणि कर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्परा अनन्येन योगेन मां ध्यायन्त उपासते तेषामहं समुद्धरता मृत्यु संसार सागरात् भवामि न चेतात् पार्थ मय्यावेशित चेतसाम. saying ये तु सर्वाणि कर्माणि, who is surrendering all their results to who? Mayi, to me, who is giving up all their activities for me, and Matpara, who is devoted to me. But how much devoted? Ananya neva, which means there is no anya person he is devoted to. He is completely devoted to me. Yogena, attached to me, and dhyayanta upasate. he is worshipping me with a very focused determination that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then what do I do? Tesha aham. Tesha means to them, to such devotees. Aham means me. Samudharta. Samudharta means I deliver them very easily. Swift deliverer. Easy deliverer. Deliverer from whom? Mrityu Sansar Sagarat. From this ocean of birth and death, I deliver them. Okay. So he's saying Bhavami means I become the deliverer. Bhavami means I become the deliverer of them. Maya Veshik Chetsam. Their consciousness is completely on me. So Krishna is saying, so why he's using this word but? He's opposing those impersonalists. In previous shloka we just read, he's saying that impersonalist path, they also come to me eventually. And these impersonalists, whatever path they follow, it's very difficult. But now the but is coming. He's saying, those who worship me, giving up sarvani karmani, giving up all their results unto me, and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service, always meditating upon me, having fixed their minds upon me, O son of Parth, for them I am Samudharta, swift deliverer, Mrityu Sansar Sagrat, ocean of birth and death. I become their swift deliverer from this ocean of birth and death, which means the devotion is the ultimate thing. Actually, you see, it's especially in case of devotees who start devotional service. Now, this is very important. I need to highlight this actually. In case of sadhana bhakti, what is sadhana bhakti? When we start chanting our rounds, 1 round, 2 round, 3 rounds, whatever we start with, we think that devotion or serving to Krishna is just half an hour, 1 hour, or 2 hour part of our life. And if we have done that, that's all. Now do your duty, whatever we are doing. You understanding my point? For example, if I am chanting 16 rounds every day, and I think this 2 hours of chanting 16 rounds, just going to temple 4:30 in the morning, attending Mangal Aarti, and then hearing Bhagavatam class, this 6-7 hours is enough. That's all. And now I can do whatever I want. Now let me engage in my own business of sense gratification. But that's not what Krishna is telling here. He's saying sarvani karmani, giving up all their activities unto me. What does that mean? That means beginning an activity with the consciousness of me and ending that activity with the consciousness of me. That is the meaning of this. You see an example like a businessman. A businessman, when he is completely engaged in doing some calculation, he has some numbers on the computer and is completely submerged into that. Oh, what is happening? What is happening with these numbers? Why this is plus there? Why this is minus there? Why I'm driving this much loss, this much profit? He is so much focused into that. He has even forgotten that he is the businessman. So much engaged into that. So when he started this activity, he was completely knowing that he's a businessman. Now he is doing that activity with so much focused attention, he is completely lost his situation. But as soon as he come out of that situation, he still knows that I am a business person, and he started talking to his colleague or his servants in the company or whoever. So the point I'm trying to make is, in our own activities, where we start any activity in office, for example, we start that I am a team lead, I am a manager, I'm a software engineer, and with that consciousness we do that activity, and with that consciousness we shut down our laptop, get out of that activity. That is not the proper consciousness. The proper consciousness is I am the servant of Krishna. Krishna has given me this duty to perform, and then we get into that activity. And when we come out of that activity, then we know that I am the servant of Krishna. By Krishna's grace, I was able to complete it. That's all. So then it becomes sarvani karmani. Understanding the point? The real position, for example, in that case was businessman. He was a businessman. He engaged in that activity. Even after that he forgot, no problem, because part of that activity, as a businessman, he was doing his duty. Even if he forgot that he's a businessman, no problem. When he came out of that activity, he again knows that I'm a businessman, no problem. At least he was doing the same activity he was supposed to as a businessman, correct? As a servant of Krishna, whatever duty I have been given as a husband, as a software engineer, for example, or as an accountant, as a doctor, or as a full-time brahmachari in temple, whatever duty I have been given, I should be doing that, but with the correct consciousness that I am the servant of Krishna. So that is the way we should be approaching our duties. That way it becomes serving Krishna 24/7. Otherwise it's like 4 5 hours I am servant of Krishna, rest 24 hours, rest 20 hours or so I am servant of Maya Devi. It becomes like that. So which means there is a little contradiction. Anyway, so how do we achieve this perfect stage becomes a question, because this is a very high standard, no? So anyway, we completed Bhakti is best. Now Krishna is talking about progressive stages of devotion. We'll come to this stage now. Let's take there is a question. Question is, if someone does 16 rounds daily, will he really be engaged in sense gratification? Yes, he can. Why not? If the consciousness is not right, he can be engaged in sense gratification if he is not conscious that whatever activity I am doing is for Krishna. 16 rounds chanting every day is to elevate our consciousness from animalistic to human to divine. But but that consciousness starts from mind. So the mind is still engrossed in sense gratification, then samadhi is not a question. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, Bhogashwarya prasaktanam taya pahachesam vyavasayatmika buddhir samadho na vidhyate. Samadho na vidhyate. Samadhi is not a question. For whom? Bhogashwarya prasaktanam, who is too much attached to sense gratification, he cannot do yoga practice. He cannot perform yoga. So even though we see people chanting 16 rounds, if they are not attentively engaging their mind in hearing the transcendental sound vibration, then definitely senses will drag him to the lower passion and he will be engaged in sense gratification, right? So yes, there are chances. That is why attentive chanting is always advertised. Okay, we are on this shloka now. Yeah, progressive stages of devotion. So it says, Mayyeva mana adhastasva mayi buddhim niveshaya nivasishyasti mayyeva atpurdhavam na sanshaya. Na sanshaya means you should not doubt in it. But what is that doubt? Mayyeva mana adhatsva. Adhatsva means situated. Mayyeva mana, who has situated his mind on me. Mayi buddhim nivesha. Nivesh means investment. And who is investing his intelligence in me? Mayi, who is also in. Actually, these are two words actually. Maya plus eva. Maya means me. Eva means certainly. Certainly. So Mayi buddhim nivesha, who is investing intelligence in me. Nivasishyati mayyeva. Again, you see mayyev is coming. Nivasishyati means nivas. Nivas means he is living in me. Urdhavam na sansha. You should not doubt in it at all. He's saying like that. So just fix your mind upon me, Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always, without a doubt. That's what Krishna is telling here. See, what does it mean actually? That you will live in me always without a doubt. What does it mean that you will live in me? Jiva Goswami gives a very nice example in this regard, and which explains what is the meaning of living in me. Jiva Goswami says, let's say there is a village man There's a village person, and he is hardly able to manage his family. His parents are there, wife is there, children are there. He's barely able to manage them, take care of them. So what he does, he comes to city like Bombay. He comes to Bombay city, and he starts working in a factory where he gets some more money. So personally, because he is alone, he starts living in a slum. Slum like chawl, very nice, very small, very very small house they will give, where 4 5 10 people like them are living. And it's not very clean atmosphere. Actually, there is a dirty water flowing, the mosquitoes and everything. So this person, whatever money he's earning, let's say 5,000 rupees, so 500 rupees he is spending on him, very bare minimum spendings, and rest 4,500 is sending back to his family. you know and this person who is living in such situation in city, even though situation is like that, he is constantly thinking of his family, that okay, I have now sent them 4,500. My children, now they will go to school. My wife will give them 1,500 in their fees, and probably 2,000. My family will take care of kitchen and everything. My parents will also be happy now. They must be getting breakfast, dinner, lunch, and everything on time. So his mind is completely where? In his family. Where is family? In the village. And what he is using in intelligence, he is using his intelligence in earning bread and butter for his family, right? That's how it's called living in me, what Krishna is telling in this verse. Na sanshaya, he lives in my nivashasri mayeva. How he lives? He uses intelligence. He uses intelligence for me, and he's completely thinking of me. Then he lives in me. He always lives in me. Actually, this is the situation of pure devotees. They always 24 by 7, they think of Krishna only. One time, about His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj, I was hearing, is a pure devotee. Is one of his disciple was telling me that whenever Maharaj talks to anyone, um, his hand automatically goes into the bead bag for chanting. Like our hand goes into the bead bag by force, or by some commitment that we have done to our spiritual master or Siksha Guru or whatever. So our hand goes unnaturally. We are forced. But these pure devotees, they naturally, their hand will automatically go in the bead bag for chanting. They are so attached to Krishna. They just want to have association of Krishna all the time by chanting his holy name. Okay. But the question comes, this is a very high class level of devotion, Krishna. Can I start with meditation that meditators do? Impersonal form, meditating on your impersonal form. Can I do that? Now Krishna says, Atham chittam samadhatum na saknoshi mai sthiram abhyas yogena tato mami chaptum dhananjaya. Krishna says, na shaknosi, if you are not able to, mai sthiram, situate on me, what? Your chitta, your mind, your consciousness. If you are not able to do that, then what do? Abhyas yogena. Krishna is saying, you do practice of sadhana bhakti. Now, what is the problem? Chant 16 rounds, and then follow 4 regulative principles. And in that way, Mami Ichhaptum Dhananjaya. Mami means me or I, and Ichha means desire, Praptum means achieve. So in that way, by doing sadhana bhakti, you desire to achieve me. He says, my dear Arjuna, O winner of wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles of bhakti yoga. In this way, develop a desire to attain me, which means no, don't go to the meditation and all. Still, you stay on this path. If you cannot, if you think that pure devotion is very difficult, at least you start. With sadhana bhakti. Whatever rules are there for sadhana bhakti, so follow 4 regulative principles, chant 16 rounds, associate with devotees weekly, and whenever there are festivals in temple, engage in service. If bare minimum that you start with, that is also very good. That's what Krishna is explaining here. That, see, it's like someone, you say that you do PhD, and if you do PhD in this rare subject, then people will call you in big conferences. You will get a lot of respect, and then money is not a question. You get a lot of money. Um, then you should definitely go for PhD. But the other person says that, no, I definitely can't do PhD. It's too much study, too much study. I really can't do it at all. So what you will ask him, no problem. If you cannot do PhD, no problem. At least do masters, or at least you do graduation, no problem. Even if you are graduated, still people will say, okay, you are graduate, you will get some job, you will start working, and eventually you will realize there is a value in higher education. You might pursue that as well. So that's what Krishna is saying, that ultimately pure devotion is best. But to get to that stage, you start with sadhana bhakti. As you see in this picture, there is a drop from the sky, so that water drop is pure, but as soon as it touches the ground, it gets contaminated. No? Here, it gets contaminated. So similarly, soul is pure. Satchit Anand is the part and parcel of Krishna. So it's Satchit Anand. But as soon as the soul comes into the material world, it's completely contaminated. So much contaminated. That's why we were discussing. Krishna is not saying that soul does not have knowledge. Krishna says, Agyana avritam jnanam. This jnana is avritam, covered by agyana, which means jnana is there. Soul knows that I am the part and parcel of Krishna. I'm supposed to Krishna. I am supposed to serve Krishna 24/7. But this agyana, this kichad, the dirt, this drop that is touches the ground, this dirt is covering that water. You remove the dirt, water is clean. Similarly, soul has the knowledge, but as soon as it comes into this dirty atmosphere of this material nature, it is contaminated. And if we remove this material contamination, then soul is pure. Now, how do we remove this material contamination? It happens through sadhana bhakti, which means 16 rounds, 4 regulative principles. Okay. But now someone can say that I can't do this also. Krishna says, okay. So let's see. Abhyase apya samarthosmi mat karma paramo bhava madartham api karmani kurvan siddhadim papyasasi. Krishna says, if you cannot practice the regulations of bhakti yoga, then just try to work for me, because by working for me you will come to the perfect stage. What does it mean by working for me? So one person is saying, well, I cannot chant also. Okay, follow 4 regulative principles. Sorry sir, I cannot. No meat eating, no sir, I cannot stop meat eating. No illicit sex, no sorry sir, I cannot do that. No intoxication, no sir, I am a daily drinker, I need to have it. No gambling, oh no sir, I am addicted to stock market, I'm always into stock market, I definitely can't do that. So if a person says I cannot do anything, or one of the thing also of sadhana bhakti, which means if the person is not chanting 16 rounds or chanting few rounds, or even if he's chanting 16 rounds but is not able to follow 4 regulative principles, but or he's chanting 60 rounds and he is able to follow 3 regulative principles but not 4th one, for example, in any area, if he's little less or completely zero, for them this is the way. Just try to work for me, because by working for me you will come to the perfection. What does it mean? Uh, it means help those who are working for Krishna. How would you otherwise work for Krishna directly? For example, some devotees, they have their house, so they will open it for devotees. In Bhakti Vraksha Irving, I used to go. I came to know one couple was living in Irving Valley Ranch. So this couple said they were not able to follow sadhana bhakti at all, but they said once in a month we will open our house for the devotees to come, have some programs like this you see, on the screen. So they can come in our home, they can sit, they can talk Krishna Katha, they can do Kirtan, and then we can have nice prasadam together. That's all they did. That's what Krishna is telling. Just try to work for me, because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. They just did this. And by doing that, they developed friendship with the devotees. And when they developed friendship, then eventually they started chanting few rounds, and then from few rounds, or 1 or 2 rounds, to 4 rounds, 8 rounds, 16 rounds. Now both husband and wife are chanting 16 rounds. It is so good. I used to go this place 2018, and now it is to 2023 we are in. So that's how actually Krishna is saying that if you don't have desire to work for, if you don't have desire to perform sadhana bhakti, at least work for me. Which means don't get attached to the results of your actions. Which means don't get attached to the money. Results of your action, what? Money, house, whatever property, whatever we say we possess, that is the result of our karma. So what Krishna is saying, don't get attached to the results of your karma, offer them in my service. And if you will do that, then eventually you will come to that perfect stage. Krishna is saying, Siddhim. There is a word called Siddhim Avapyasasi. Avapyasasi means you will achieve Siddhim, perfect stage. You will achieve that perfect stage. I was in Pune, one devotee had the transport company, and Radhesham Prabhu, who is the president of NVCC temple, he was also mentioning in his lecture in chapter 12, he's saying that this person, he was not performing sadhana bhakti at all, but he has a transport company, and he became very inclined towards ISKCON. So he said wherever devotees will go on yatra, to South India yatra, or in Maharashtra also there are many pilgrimages. So any time they will go, my truck for them is free. They can just call me, as many trucks they want, I will give them. They can use them. They don't need to pay for gas also, and it's completely free. So that way he developed relationship with the devotees. Devotees will call him that we are going on this yatra, that yatra. He will immediately send few trucks for them. And then devotees started inviting him also in temple festivals. So that way he developed a relationship. And slowly he started chanting, and started coming to Bhagavatam class also. Like that, there are so many examples. You will not be in my home city Ghaziabad in India. We have a ISKCON temple, and I was talking to this person. He was a auto rickshaw driver there, and I asked him, how did you connect with ISKCON? Then he said, oh, one day sometime in morning 4:30, I came to drop a devotee for Mangal Aarti. So I asked him, how come you are coming so early? That devotee said, I'm coming because there is a Mangal Aarti program. We are going to wake up Krishna. Then we will dress him and everything. So somehow or other, he got attached to this devotee, and he said, do you come every day? He said, yes, I come every day. Then he said, okay, no problem. I will drop you every day. I will come pick you up, I will drop you. Then that devotee said, oh, no, I just came today because my two-wheeler, my scooty is not working. Your two-wheeler will be very costly. I will come from my scooty. So this auto driver said, no, I will not charge you anything. I'll just come, I'll drop you. Devotee said, okay, no problem. Then after a month or two, this person also started Mangal Aarti, and this person also became a devotee of Krishna, chanting and everything. So it was very inspiring to hear all these stories, and because that's what Krishna is also telling here. You work for me. By working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. Okay. Okay, we discussed this point. Let's, yeah. So this is 11th text. We have 20 texts in this, so half an hour left. Let's quickly cover them up. This is Athet Dapye Shaktosmi Kartum Madhyogam Sarvakaram Falatyagam Tatah Kuru Yatatmavan. he says, if however you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, then try to act, giving up all results of your work, and try to be self-situated. So again Krishna is saying, okay, pure devotion is best. Okay, if you can't do this, then definitely you start with sadhana bhakti, no problem. But if says no, I cannot do chanting things also, Krishna says, you work for me. We discuss several examples of, like giving our house for the program, trucks or auto rickshaw driver, whatever. But someone says no, first of all, I don't accept Krishna at all. What to talk about is devotees, and I cannot accept spirituality also. Then Krishna says, okay, if you are so adamant, then all give up all results of your work, and try to be self situated. So again this point is coming, like don't be greedy, then you just give up the results of your work. So if you are earning money, give it for cause, like feeding to the people, needy people, or build houses for homeless people, so they can stay, or give food to nutrition food to the poor children, or clothes to those who are in need, or donations wherever required, which means you do humanitarian work. Give up all results means don't be attached to the results, you give up them. Once you will start giving up those results to such causes, then you will realize there is a higher reality to them. Because for how long you can help someone? For example, someone is hungry, you can give him food for uh, morning breakfast, probably lunch, probably dinner, probably month, probably 2 month, 3 month, 5 month, probably one person for whole life you can take care of. But can you take care of that person eternally after his death also? No. After that, you will be somewhere, he will be somewhere else. So that's a temporary solution we are giving someone. But assume that you give someone Krishna. You give him the knowledge that takes him back home, back to Godhead. That's all. You solved all his problems. Eternal problems you have solved. Because in this very life, he will go back home, Godhead, back home, back to Godhead. You will also go back home, back to Godhead. Your problem is solved, his problem is solved. That is the best humanitarian work, actually. Giving up all these things are for those who does not understand spirituality, does not accept Krishna. They only accept body. Then they help body. Actually, there is no problem in helping people like this also. For example, Prabhupada also, when he was on this planet, he used to say that our temple, within the 10-mile radius of every ISKCON temple, there should not be any hungry person. He used to say that we should distribute food. That's why we started Food for Life program in all our ISKCON. We have Food for Life program, and with this program we try to distribute as many prasadam plates we can, so no one is hungry. So ultimately we are not solving the real problem if we feed or we give people clothes and things like that for a very temporary period. We are solving their problem, but not for a very long time. The long time problem is the soul is looking for love, and that love he gets when he connects with Krishna. That connection, the instrument in Krishna's hand, we have to become to have that connection back uh, Krishna, with Krishna. So some people give donation also, but all these are indirect methods of mind purification and takes a longer route towards soul's ultimate goal, which is Krishna consciousness. But this is also authorized by Krishna. If someone is feeding food or doing all these things, it is at the lower stage of pure devotion. But Krishna is saying, okay, if you cannot do sadhana bhakti, even you cannot offer your things for the Krishna consciousness, then no problem, you at least do this. Okay, someone says, no, I cannot do this also. I am very, very greedy for my things. I cannot do this also. Then Krishna says, okay, there is program for that as well. Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasa jnanam dhyanam vishishyate dhyanat karma phala tyaga shantir anantaram. Krishna says, if you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. See, why is saying cultivation of knowledge? Because when one will take knowledge, then he will realize that he is not the body, he is the soul, or he should not get attached to the results of the action, like that. But Krishna says better than knowledge, however, is meditation. So we discussed about the meditation example. Some person was sitting in heavy snowfall, and then one person, like Agodi Baba, he was doing some other action like that. So he's saying better than acquiring knowledge is meditation, because knowledge also, for how long you will keep ultimately getting knowledge, and for how long you will derive to some conclusion. Better than that is you sit in meditation and focus. And better than meditation is renunciation of fruits of action, for by such renunciation one can attain peace of mind. Anyway, all these things are not applicable to us, because all of us have accepted the path of sadhana bhakti. So this is the progressive stage of devotion we discussed, where we understood that pure devotion to Krishna is best, but that pure devotion to Krishna, that natural love, comes from sadhana bhakti. If someone cannot do sadhana bhakti, then he should help those who are doing sadhana bhakti, and then gradually he will also start doing sadhana bhakti. But if person cannot help also, then he can do humanitarian work. And if he cannot do humanitarian work also, then he should go on reading scriptures, understanding the higher reality. Okay. Now Krishna come back to his original agenda, which is devotion. And then he starts explaining the qualities that he loves the most in his devotees. Let's see. He says, Adveshta sarvabhutanam maitra karuna evacha nirmamo nirankara samdukha sukha shami santushta satatam yogi yatatma dृढ़ निश्चया mayyarpit mano buddhiryo madbhakta same priya. Krishna says, Adveshta, who does not have any dvesh, he is not envious, sarvabhutanam, for everyone, maitra, he is friendly, karuna, compassionate, evcha, nirmamo, he is, 1 minute, he nirmamo, he is not having doership mentality, nirankar, he does not have false ego, sam dukha sukha, sam dukha sukha, he is a same in dukha sukha, happiness, distress. Shami means he is forgiver, he is always forgiving. Santushta, self-satisfied. Satatam yogi, always engaged in me. Yatatma dृढ़ निश्चया, with very strong determination he is engaged in my service. Mayarpita buddha mano buddhaya. Mayarpita means he is arpit to me, he is surrendering to me with his mind and intelligence, which means not just by words. Oh, Krishna is supreme, Krishna is supreme. He is actually, with his intelligence and mind, he is completely devoted to me. Mad bhakta sa. He's saying such devotee of mine, my mad bhakta, my devotee, ma priya, is very dear to me. So he's saying not envious, friend to everyone, matra, and nirmamo, he does not have proprietorship mentality, free from false ego, nirankar, nirhankar. Like that, he is explaining all these qualities of a devotee. See why we become envious, Adveshta, Krishna is saying, because we chase our senses. So when we chase our senses, the pleasure of our senses, then whoever is already having those pleasure, we become envious of them. For example, we are chasing to have a nice house here. Whoever has a nice house, we become envious of them. But devotees are not envious. Why? Because they are not chasing the pleasure of the senses. They are chasing the pleasure of Krishna. That's why they are not envious of these things. Like Mirgari, Mirgari, you must have heard that story. Mirgari was very envious of animals. He will just kill them and let them die. He will just kill them half, and then they will be crying in pain, and he will take pleasure in them. Narad Muni came, and Narad Muni preached him, and then he started chanting of Lord's name, and he became a pure devotee. When he became a pure devotee, after giving him diksha, after giving him a name that you should chant name, became a pure devotee after prolonged practice. So when Narad Muni came to meet him, he was he saw Narad Muni, and he wanted to pay obeisances to Narad Muni. So he fell on the ground. But while he was falling on the ground to pay obeisances, he saw that there are ants moving on the ground. So he said, if I will fall, they will get killed. I will fall on them. The ants will get killed. So so he first wait for the ants to move away, and then he paid obeisances to Narad Muni. So such a person who had so much dvesh for simple living entities, used to kill them. The devotion effect is so strong that now his heart became so soft that he started thinking about the pain of other living entities. So Adveshta Sarvbhutanam, not only for humans, Sarvbhutanam, for every living entity, he is Adveshta. Maitra, he develops friend relationship with everyone like Narad Muni. He was friendly to Kamsa, he was friendly to Hiranyakashyap also. He was friendly to everyone. So devotees are friendly to everyone. They don't have grudges for anyone. Nirmamo means they know Krishna is a proprietor, so there is no question of me doing anything. Nirankara, they don't have any ego. Samdukh Shami, which means they know that all the pain and pleasure coming into my life is because of my own karma of previous life, and that is coming to me. So they don't get affected by that. Chami, they are forgiver. Even before someone else asking them forgiveness, they forgive them. That no, you are not doing that. Actually, Krishna is making arrangements for my purification. So you are not doing any harm to me. You are not doing any harm to me. Krishna is making arrangement for me, so I get purified of my previous karma. So you are not harming. Krishna is making all these arrangements. So they are forgiver. They are always forgiving. Self-satisfied, whatever they have. So they are santushta. They are never hankering for material things. So whatever they have, they are happy in that. Drad nishchaya. So they are very focused, and that they have to attain Krishna in this life. Like in second chapter, we are vyavasayatmika buddhi ekah kuru nandan. Their buddhi is very focused. Ekah kuru nandan. Their ultimate objective is Krishna. They are very focused. And then Bhagavad Krishna says, such a devotee is very dear to me. Further, Krishna is telling all these things now. Who is devotee very dear to Krishna? Krishna is saying, Yasman no vijate loko lokan no dvijate chaya harsam harshabho bhayod vagir mukto so sacha me priya. He says, he who by whom no one is put into difficulty and who is not disturbed by anyone, who is equipoised in happiness and distress, fear and anxiety, he is very dear to me. Ma priya. Krishna saying that person is very dear to me. Harisham Asharbha. He is happiness and distress. He is not disturbed, equipoised. Like Narad Muni, Prahlad Maharaj, you see. Prahlad Maharaj is sitting here and he is educating all his friends. So all his friends, even though they were demons, they loved him very much because Prahlad was giving him transcendental knowledge. So when Agyan, the covering of Agyan removes, and then Gyan comes, living entity becomes very joyful. Like, every Thursday program that I go and give lecture in UTA, this is my personal experience. One student or other will always come after the lecture and they will say, Sir, I was in little distress or I was in so much tension. After hearing your lecture, I feel so good, so relaxed. I said, you were in tension or distress because there is a covering of Agyan that you had. Now, because of that lecture or Krishna's teachings that we discussed, that Agyan little bit removed, so you are feeling relaxed. It's like a burden. You have some burden on the shoulder, and someone takes that burden, removes that, and put that on the ground. You feel really relaxed. Oh, now it is relaxed. So, what was the problem? Problem was in the burden. So, because of that Agyan ignorance, we feel burden in our head. But this Gyan removes that burden, and we feel relaxed. So these demons, they were, even though they were very demons, their very nature is to remain disturbed. But because of that knowledge from Prahlad Maharaj, they were very friendly to him. Now, even though Prahlad Maharaj was put into different difficulties, you see in these pictures, he was thrown. His father said, "I cannot accept that you will worship Vishnu. Definitely not. How can you worship Krishna? That's not possible." Then he said, I'm sorry, father, I will worship Krishna. He said, okay, you will have to pay the price. So he was thrown from mountain and different attacks were done, but he was equipoised and he did not retaliate. Let's read Srila Prabhupada in this connection. Srila Prabhupada says, generally a materialistic person becomes very happy when there is something for his sense gratification and his body. But when he sees that others have something for their sense gratification and he has not, he is sorry and envious. When he is expecting some retaliation from an enemy, he is in a state of fear. And when he cannot successfully execute something, he becomes dejected. So when we are in fear, which means we have considered someone as our enemy, and now that enemy is retaliating, so that fearfulness comes up. But devotee does not consider anyone his enemy, so there is no question of fear also. And then he further says, a devotee who is always transcendental to all these disturbances is very dear to Krishna. Right? Then Krishna further says, Anpekshe suchirdakshe udasino gatavyatha sarvarambha parityagi yo mad bhakta same priya. Krishna says, my devotee who is not dependent on the ordinary course of activities, who is pure, expert, without cares, free from all pains, not striving for some result, is very dear to me. Again, Srila Prabhupada says, money may be offered to a devotee, but he should not struggle to acquire it. This is a very important point, actually. Devotee's only business is to please Krishna, he is completely engaged in that, but he is not struggling to earn money. If automatically, by grace of Supreme, money comes to him, uh, money comes to him, he is not agitated. So he's not agitated that, oh, I'm not getting money or I'm getting money. If by Krishna's grace, some lottery, something happens and he's getting money, he's not agitated. One time, one reporter was asking Prabhupada, how much money you need? Because movement was increasing, a lot of people were getting connected, and so many donations and everything was coming. So this press reporter, was feeling envious. So she was asking, she was like, Prabhupada, how much money you need? Prabhupada said, practically we need whole money of this world, but unfortunately you guys are not giving us. So that was Prabhupada. Prabhupada was saying, actually the point is, whole money of this world is of Krishna, so we need all this money so we can engage in Krishna's service. This purport is for all of us to understand that our endeavor should not be to earn money for ourselves, but if we want to earn money for Krishna, that is fine, that is no problem. We'll earn money, we will build temples. That's perfect, actually. That's how we should be earning money. Otherwise, what is the use of money? If automatically by grace of, so naturally, if a devotee, the further Pushpa says, if naturally a devotee takes a bath at least twice in a day and rises early in the morning for devotional service, thus he is naturally clean, both inwardly and outwardly. A devotee is always expert because he fully knows the essence of all activities of life and he is convinced of authoritative scriptures. A devotee never takes the part of particular party. A devotee never takes the part of particular party. Therefore, he is carefree. He is never pained because he is free from all designations. He knows that his body is a designation. So if there are some bodily pains, he is free. The pure devotee does not endeavor for anything which is against the principles of devotional service. For example, constructing a big building requires great energy, and the devotee does not take to such business if it does not benefit him by advancing his devotional service. You see, a devotee does not build big houses because we want to live in there. No, we will build big temples because Krishna has to live in there, which means poverty for myself, opulences for the Lord. That's devotee's call. So he does not construct a big house for his personal relations. Now, Krishna says, Yo na hirshyati na dveshti na sochati na kankshati shubha shubha parityagi bhakti man same priyam. Shubha ashubh. He is parityagi. He renounced auspicious and inauspicious. He does not think, oh, this is auspicious movement, inauspicious, whatever inauspicious or unauspicious, does not think about them, those movements, because he is completely surrendered to Krishna. Yona harshati, he is not rejoices or grieves. So one who neither rejoices nor grieves, who neither laments nor desires, or who renounces both auspicious and auspicious, such a devotee is very dear to me. In Srila Prabhupada we read, he's saying, Prabhupada says, he is prepared to accept all kinds of risks. He means devotee. Devotee is prepared to accept all kinds of risks for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. Nothing is an impediment in the discharge of his devotional service. Such a devotee is very dear to Krishna. And then we are left with 3 shlokas now. We'll quickly cover them. So coming to the purport of it, Krishna says, one who is equal to friends and enemies, who is equipoised in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, who is always free from contaminating association, always silent. And always silent means he is silent for material talks. He is interested only in spiritual talks about Krishna. And satisfied with anything, who does not care for any residence, who is fixed in knowledge, and who is engaged in devotional service. Such a person is very dear to me. Krishna is saying, Samo Shatro Cha Mitre. He is Sam. Sam means he is same for Shatru, same for Mitra. Tatha Manapman. Manapman. He is fame and fame. He is same for them. Same for them means he does not care about being famous, or I should have a YouTube channel. There's that many followers, so many. No, he's not worrying about that at all. He's not worrying about fame and fame. Yes, but he cares about fame in fame of Krishna. If someone is blaspheming Krishna, he scolds them heavily. And if someone is preaching about Krishna positively, then he encourages them that, oh, you are doing very nice job, please do it. But fame in fame for himself, no, he hardly bothers about that. See why it is happening? Because he is taking higher pleasure. Usually people, those are taking pleasure in fame and infame, and pain in infame, because they are attached to the body. But those who are taking higher pleasure, then they are not worried about these small pleasures that come from fame, or in a friendly relationship with the people of this world, or whatever material things, this pleasure that we have in this world. He does not take pleasure in them. So he is santushta, he is and fixed in knowledge. Okay, we'll cover this last shloka. Krishna says, Ye tu dharmam mratmidam yathoktam paryupasate shriddhana mat parma bhaktas tiva me priya. Ativ, there's a word ativ here. Ativ means most. Ativ means very, 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 you can say very, very. Me priya means dear. That person is very, very dear to me. So until now Krishna was saying very dear to me. Now he's saying ativa me priya. It's very dear, very, very dear to me. So those who follow this imperishable path of devotional service, see, imperishable path of devotional service means sadhana bhakti also. Sadhana bhakti that we do, chanting, hearing, discussing about Krishna that we are doing now. So Krishna is saying those who follow this imperishable path of devotional service and who completely engage themselves with faith, making me the supreme goal that I have to achieve Krishna in this very life, are very, very dear to me. So Krishna personally takes care of such devotees, and devotees share their personal experience also in this regard when they come to devotional service. My very close friend, I started talking to him last year in January. After college we lost touch, and after probably 12 years I started talking to him last year in January. So he was getting into great difficulty because of his work, family life and everything. And every time I talk to him, he says the same thing. He says that even though I was in great distress that time, same problems still exist. Same problems still exist. But I don't feel affected by them now as much as I used to be before. Why it is happening? Because Krishna personally gives them the knowledge and everything, so they get relief in their life and they can continue moving on this imperishable path of devotional service. So with the proportion we endeavor to that proportion Krishna reciprocate back. Because sometimes some people might say that I'm doing this much, still I'm not getting the reciprocation, because Krishna just reciprocating to the extent we are approaching him. In this connection, I wanted to read Srila Prabhupada purport, but we are left with 1 minute only. So I'll quickly summarize. So this is Bhakti is the best. So Krishna explains that devotees are best. The impersonal path is very difficult. So worshipping of impersonal feature is very, very difficult. We discussed this example also. And Krishna promises that I personally delivers my devotees. Then we discussed the progressive stages of devotion. So we understood that one stage is completely fix your mind on Krishna. If one cannot do that, then follow the regulative principles and develop the desire to attain Krishna. If one cannot do that, then work for Krishna. If working for Krishna is also difficult, then cultivate knowledge, meditation, and like that. And if one cannot, and no results assured, like that. Then again, these are progressive stages of bhakti that we discussed, and then qualities that Krishna likes. So these are the attitude towards oneself, that we should not be envious. Sarva arambha pratyagi means free from all endeavors, dealing with other devotees, reaction when things happen to them. Okay, so we'll stop now. Is there any question, comment, or concern we can discuss? Okay, I would request everybody to. Oh, sorry, Nehemata, do you want to say something?
No.
Just want to request, if all of you have not submitted your test, please do that. I know Jai Prabhu have already submitted. Thank you, Jai Prabhu. Smita Mataji have also submitted. So that is also very nice. Thank you. I have started checking the answers also. So I will connect with you on the answers as well. So very, very thankful. But others also can go ahead and submit them. Yes, Nehemata.
Tuesday morning is what we said that we can submit to.
Was it?
Tuesday morning is.
Yes.
By when? Okay.
Yeah, Tuesday morning is a good time. Okay. Thank you all for joining once again. Have a very nice day. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.